Hey guys, it's your boy Afro Indigenous Tech Talk. So I wanted to come with a new video today, and as you guys know that I am in the crypto scene, right? I have been in the crypto scene for around 6, 7 years, and basically 2 cycles, going on my third cycle, right, in cryptocurrency. And what I wanted to go over is how Black Americans, you know what I'm saying, FBAs, indigenous people of the Americas, how we are underfunded in the new wealth transfer, right? Because you have to really pay attention where capital is going. And I don't think this is, I think half of it is racism, right? But also, well, I would say mainly part of it is racism because, you know what I'm saying, racism is to protect the hierarchy of the dominant society, right? So we have to be honest about that. But also, too, we also have to talk about how we are underfunded and underrepresented in the new wealth transfer of technology, right? Blockchain technology, AI technology, etc. So what I typed into Chat GPT, I say lay out how Black Americans are underfunded in the new infrastructure of wealth and AI and crypto. Right. So the core issue, Black Americans are not underfunded because of lack of talent or interest. They are underfunded because the new wealth rails, AI plus crypto, are built on access points we were historically excluded from, and and are still structurally gated today. My bad, guys. So number one, capital assets. Assets. The first gate is still closed. What is happening? AI and crypto wealth is front loaded. Pre-seed, seed, early token allocation. This is where 90% of upside is created. The funding reality. Black founders receive 1% or less of venture capital. I think I was reading, somebody was making a video, this guy was making a video that I think during COVID, like we didn't even receive, I don't even think we received 10% of like $82 billion that was funded to crypto startups, right? I think we was getting less than that. I think we got at least 2 billion, and then after that it was around like 30 million. It was crazy. It was a crazy amount of fun. Like the amount of funding that was probably going to startups that was probably mainly um, white people, Europeans, just to be honest, and then Asian people was probably getting most of that capital as well. So the funding reality is that black founders receive less percent. I think I read that. Most AI crypto unicorns was funded before the public ever heard of them. By the time the opportunity to reach retail value is already extracted, right? Because the last 2 cycles was basically extracting values from these projects. Some of these projects didn't really offer no utility. You know what I'm saying? There was just more hype on their technology, but the technology and what they was presenting wasn't that good, right? It was just mainly to just, hey, we can fund you guys, hype up the markets and stuff, make the money, and we just gonna exit, right? Structural disadvantage. VCs is relationship based, not merit based. Network favor Stanford/Ivy League schools, exist in wealth circles, prior exits. These networks compound themselves. If you miss the early round, you miss the generational upside. And and that's what I want to go over too, right? Is that these people, right? Like the VC game, these people create generational upside. Like the amount of money these people can make, right, is crazy, right? Now that we're entering the infrastructure phase of cryptocurrency, right? VCs have a lot of capital to deploy inside these infrastructure plays that can create them generational. When I say generational wealth, right? They could create them mass amount of wealth. Because when you have capital, when you have a mass amount of capital, right? You get into other sectors a lot faster. And the ones that don't have a lot of capital, they are at a disadvantage, which, like I said, our people, right, black founders receive 1% or less of venture capital. So we didn't really capture the generational upside of capital that crypto could have gave us if it was an equal playing field. My bad for pausing. So not only that, we're not creating wealth and stuff like that. We are excluded from getting wealth, right? And I don't think our people don't want to get into cryptocurrency. I believe we do, but we're promoted to just trade, to just be a consumer and just trade meme coins, right? I think our intelligence and our talents has been underestimated and undermined by media and by corporate America because they feel like that we can't build anything but just trade cryptocurrency. And I totally disagree with that, right? And do we go and beg and go to Congress or go to and be like, hey, we need funding and stuff? I don't think we do that. What I think we do have to do is pull our capital together. If we do have serious builders in our communities, people that are building real technology, real use cases inside of cryptocurrency, I think we have to just band our money together, right? So number two, AI infrastructure is owned, not shared. AI wealth is not apps. It is not in apps. It is in compute GPUs, data centers, data ownership, model licensing, cloud infrastructure. The problem AI infrastructure required massive upfront capital, government contracts, enterprise partnership. These are not accessible to most black founders or communities. Result, black participants is pushed to content creation. Yeah, because today a lot of our people, what I've seen on YouTube and what I've seen through social media and this online digital playing field is our people are pushed to just content creation, right? Our people are pushed to content creation just to make ends meet or to make the create. That's the only way we can really create value is to create content, right? We're not in the seats of what owning GPUs and data centers, right? Data ownership, modeling license, or cloud infrastructure. We're not at those seats, right? So like I said, the problem is that AI infrastructure requires massive upfront capital, government contract, enterprise partnership. These are not accessible to most black founders or communities. So black participants is pushed to content creation, prompting, using AI, not owning it. As you can see right now, guys, I'm using AI. I don't own it, and our people. I don't even think they want our people to own it because of everything that is structured the way it's supposed to be within the system. Using AI, owning AI, ownership is where wealth is concentrates, right? Yeah, wealth is concentrated through ownership. If you don't own it, you can't concentrate your wealth if you don't own the infrastructure, right? And not like I said, not to say that people don't want to own the infrastructure. I'm pretty sure we do, just like anybody else. Like you want to own your home, you want to own land, you want to own your car. I'm pretty sure our people do want to own part of the infrastructure of cryptocurrency. But like I said, how the system is set up, it prevents us from even owning a piece, not even 1%, right? Because like I said, ownership is where wealth concentrates. Crypto early access was uneven, right? So we're getting into number three. Crypto promised openness, but reality differed, right? So what they promote on social media, Twitter and YouTube, that crypto is access to everybody, getting away from the banks, but in reality, that's not the case, right? So early insiders got private token sales, validated positions, governance power. Retail included most black Americans entered after narratives form. Why does matter? Governance equals control. Validators equals yield. Early token supply equals leverage. By the time mass adoption came, risk increased and reward decreased. Stable income versus speculation gap. Right? Wealth is built on assets, yield, ownership, and long-term compounding. Black Americans are disproportionately positioned in wage labor, high volatility trading. This is why this makes sense because this is why I see a lot of just I mean I just have to keep it I just have to keep it a beat within the black entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to investing. It's just solely focused on trading, like trading forex, trading cryptocurrency, options trading. It doesn't really teaches us real wealth building tools, which is what owning the asset, earning yield on the asset, right? Ownership and long term compounding, right? So we focus on high volatility trading. That's why they you see a lot of like Wall Street Trapper, Earn Your Leisure, some other dudes and stuff like that. They push out people just to trade options and stuff, right? Which doesn't really build any long term wealth in the long run. So why? Limited access to yield bearing assets, early stage ownership, infrastructure level investments. Speculation keeps you busy. And yes, speculation does keep us busy. Because if we too busy on the computer all day just trading charts, right, we don't have any type of freedom to build real wealth, right? So yield makes you free, which I'm going to be making another video, guys, on DeFi, decentralized finance. I am in decentralized finance. I do have assets that I do stake, I liquid stake, and I earn around 20% on my capital, right? Because long term, that's where real wealth is built, right? In yields. So if you yield, if you put your money work, make sure you earn the yield on your money, right? Learn DeFi, but I am going to come out with a video. Regulation protects capital. Um, okay, cool. Let's get into it, guys. Number 5. Regulation sounds neutral, but isn't. Compliance costs favor, right? Big firms, well-funded startups, legacy institutions, small builders are priced out before launch. Outcome: black-led innovation is slow. Big players consolidate. Safety becomes a gatekeeping tool, right? So I'm not gonna go much into that. I mean, like I said, regulations is to favor the big firms, well-funded startups that already have capital, and legacy institutions, the ones that's been around for a long time. So small builders, even if they're black founders, right, are going to be priced out before launch, right? So that is the outcome of it. Number 6 is narrative control shapes funding. Who gets framed as visionary, founder, or safe bets who controls who gets funded. Black innovation is often framed as cultural, social, community based instead of infrastructure, systems, and scale. Narrative influence capital flow more than logic, and that is true. Whoever controls the narrative, right, controls where money flows, right? That goes on in anything, right? The compounding effect, this is the real damage. When you miss early capital, infrastructure ownership, governance power, you don't just miss money, you miss influence, policy leverage, generational compounders. That is how wealth gaps widen silently even in new systems. The hard truth, no sugarcoating. AI and crypto did not erase inequality, they moved it into a higher level of abstraction, right? Those who control compute capital protocol infrastructure control the future. The strategic pivot where power can still be built, right? So this is where our people can still build some type of power despite us. being excluded from actually building wealth inside the space. So this is where Afro indigenous tech talk becomes relevant. Real leverage points, cooperative capital pools, DAO based ownership, validated collective, tokenized real world assets, shared infrastructure model. So the focus shift should be from trading to actually owning, from apps to rails, from hypes to yield, right? So this is for you guys, right? Final line. The new economy doesn't remove barriers, it automates them. Understanding this system is the first step to breaking it, right? So basically this was the YouTube out script for the video, guys. But just to go over that, guys, is that you know systems are only systems are created to protect capital for a group of people, guys. So we have to realize that hey, we are in a white dominant society. They are going to protect capital to favor them more in business because, like I said, entrepreneurship, right? Our people haven't been really taught this. Entrepreneurship is a competitive game. Is It's a competitive game of resources, power, and influence, right? It's not entrepreneurship is not something that hey we all compete at an equal playing field. It's at the end of the day it's gonna be winners and it's gonna be losers inside the space of entrepreneurship. That's just it, right? You're gonna have these people that want this resources. You're gonna have another group of people that want that resources. So we're all competing for resources at the end of the day when it comes to entrepreneurship, and that's the same thing that happens in the cryptocurrency space, right? That we are competing for resources. We are competing for infrastructure. We are competing for leverage and influence for the future, right? So I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna name this video, guys, right? Like I said, our people is underfunded, but I believe that we have to talk more about this to create awareness and invite builders, right, from our communities and actually have a serious discussion and talk on how we can actually pull capital, right, allocate that capital to serious builders, right, so we can at least build rails for ourselves and our communities so we can actually build wealth, right? So it's your boy Afro Indigenous Tech Talk. I'm out. Peace.